Hi, this is Buck with MyAquarium.Rocks, and this is video 2 of my tour of aquariums in my home. This is my 55-gallon aquarium, which is kind of a throw-together tank. It wasn't well planned or anything. It happened. I got it. I found a couple of fish I liked. Then fish we didn't want in other tanks got put in here. Some have died. Others were gotten rid of, and some are going to be gotten rid of somehow or another. But at any rate, while she's here, we have Sophie, one of my owners. Let's see if we can get her. Sophie, there you go. This is Sophie, and she is one of my owners. And when she was a little kitten, barely big enough to get on your hand, to fit in your hand good, I came home from work and she had 3 feet straddled around the corner of the aquarium, her head completely underwater, and one paw pawing down as far as it could to my Raphael catfish on the bottom of the tank. This was on the far right hand, on this right hand side, about where that heater is. So, as a result, I found a board that had been, it's a shelf board we didn't use, that was pre-primed, and I cut out a slot for the filter, and I cut out holes for the lamps, and I put 2 of these Walmart desk lamps. They're clip-on lamps. You just clip them on something and then use them. They're like $7 LED lamps, and stuck them in the holes, and that's what I've been using for a lid ever since, and it's done quite well. It's not real pretty, but at this angle you can't see it anyway. The fish in the tank, like I said, mostly are haphazard, but not all of them. The 3 Raphael catfish were bought for this aquarium. The flying fox was bought for this aquarium, but that's an interesting story I'll get to in a bit. The angelfish, along with the black angelfish, was bought for this aquarium, but the black angelfish kept picking on the angelfish that's in there. This is Angel, and Black Angel was the one we had in there when they were younger. And when they grew up, he kept picking on Angel, and his name was Dark Angel, but Dark Angel kept picking on Angel, and I found somebody that I was going to give him to, and before we could give him to give him away, he died, and I'm thinking that Angel had enough and took out Dark Angel. In the bottom you'll see Dragon. Dragon is a plecostomus that was purchased knowing he would be going into this tank, but put in my 30-gallon aquarium temporarily until I got the albino plecostomuses for it. There's also a Chinese algae eater. You can see him right under the left edge of the grass. He's not moving right now. His name is Chopsticks. My daughter named him. And you see one of the peppered cory cats coming out from the grass to the left. He was an experiment. We put him in there. See, he's pretty small. He was a lot smaller when I put him in there. But I put him in to see if he would survive, if they were going to eat him or bother him or whatever. And nobody bothers him, so I'll put some more in there later. But at any rate, he's been doing quite well. You see him come out. And the green one back behind him now. They're kind of under the 3 goldfish. He's been around a long time. That guy is at least 5 years old. He was in my Tetra tank originally, along with an albino, and I gave the albino away, somebody who liked him, and that guy was moved to the 30 temporarily until I got the peppered cory cats, and then I moved him and the albino into this tank, where he has been ever since, and he has done very well. So he's been at least 3 years he's been at least 3 years in this tank, and probably another year or 2 in the Tetra tank. So he is the oldest cory cat. The peppered cory cat was born in the Tetra tank. Don't know how old he is. He doesn't look like he's the largest of the peppered cories, so he's he's fairly old compared to some of the peppers in there, but he's not real old and he's not real young, so he's in there somewhere. Two gouramis, there were four, two gold and two pearl. The two gold were too aggressive, I got rid of them. The two pearl get along much better when there's a lot more grass, but they do get along, as you can tell. The goldfish were originally my daughter's. She put them in the tank. Oh, there goes the flying fox. She put them in here when they outgrew her tank. And she doesn't want to get rid of them. She just doesn't want to keep them. But at any rate, the Chinese algae eater, as you can see, is a pain. I want to get rid of him. I want to get rid of those three. And the Plecostomus dragon was purchased with the idea that I would sell him or trade him in and get, use him as credit for additional fish. But he's mostly part of the family now, so I don't know if I'll get rid of him or not. He's not too big. He gets along well in the aquarium, except for when the Chinese algae eater bothers him. And sometimes he bothers the Raphael catfish as well. So, but at any rate, I like the Raphael catfish. They have as a group, they have a common, a group personality that's really nice. Always getting along, swimming with each other, laying on top of each other is just interesting. And from what I understand, only one person's managed to get them to breed in captivity once. But so I'm not expecting to breed them. But of course, it's been a few years since I learned that, so I don't know that that's true or not anymore. Flying fox is in there somewhere. I don't know where he is. At any rate, inside the tank we have two heaters. To the left, one of the common Tetra 78 preset 78 degree heaters. I believe it's a 200 watt. I have the standard over the back filter that I have the same kind that's on the Tetra tank. And I also did the same thing. It's got filter floss where the water comes in and lots of red lava rocks. Lights are Walmart special desk lamps with a clip, $7 a piece. And I actually bought three. One of them fell in the tank, so it didn't live but a couple more days, so I replaced it. Let's see, not much else to say. On the heater on the right is interesting because it's a Chinese, El Cheapo Chinese $5 water heater. I don't know, I think it's set at 84, just to keep the temperature at 78. But, so it's totally inaccurate on whatever the temperature reading is. But that thing's at least 3 to 5 years old. It's the oldest water heater I've got, and it's still working. It's the oldest one I've still got. I don't even have any that don't work. So at any rate, this is my 55 gallon. We picked it up from a friend of somebody my wife knew, and her husband passed away, and she wanted this out of the house, so we got it pretty cheap. And it's been an okay aquarium, but I don't want another one. I probably won't get rid of this one, but I guess if I'd had my Ruther's 220s would be nice there. But it's good, and I can put a couple of bigger fish in there and watch. But I don't really have much in the way of plans except to get rid of at least 4 of those fish in that tank. I was thinking Dragon would grow larger than he has so far. And maybe he will over time, but right now I don't think he's too big for the aquarium, so I'll keep him in here. But that's it. That's the tour of my 55 gallon. Oh, let me go over this. Like the Tetra tank, I also let the duckweed grow in the top and the Java fern grow in the base. And to give you an idea, the Java fern on the right is very thinned out from the thickest point that was ever in that tank. So, and the whole bottom was filled at least as much, actually more than what you see there. So probably 2/3 or more of the Java fern was removed, as well as all of the duckweed. And this threw the tank into some kind of a cycle. It upset my Raphael catfish, and I had to do a water change to keep them from going too crazy. Apparently it hurt them a bit, I imagine but the everything settled down the next day to a degree. The next day after that, it was mostly back to normal, and now it's back to normal. And of course it was back to normal the day after that. But lesson learned: don't pull all the greenery out of an aquarium with no warning. Do it a little at the time, not all at once. But at any rate, that's it for my 55-gallon aquarium on tour. MyAquarium.Rocks, and I hope yours does too. Like, subscribe, and share, and come back for more.